Hey, third graders, it's Miss Hensley, and I am here with this week's science. It is Unit 3, Week 1, and we're doing science vocabulary as this is a science unit. So get your notebooks and your pen or pencil, whatever you're writing with, whatever you're writing on, so you can get this science vocabulary written down to add to your My NG Connect notebook later in the week. Okay, so first we're going to start off with our objectives. Our objectives tell us why we're learning something. So if you'll repeat after me, please. I can learn science vocabulary. Your turn. So I can use scientific language in discussions and writing. Your turn. My turn. I am successful when I write all of the vocabulary words and their definitions into my notebook. Your turn. All right, so what are we doing today? We're learning some new science vocabulary that goes with our Unit 3, learning about plants. Why? So that we can use that scientific language. You can use academic language when we're talking about science and when we're writing about science and we're writing and talking about plants. We'll be successful today when we get these words and their definitions written down into our notebook, because that's our first step to learning these new vocabulary words. All right, if you got your notebook or a piece of paper, composition book, whatever you're writing in, and whatever you're writing with, pencil, pen, crayon, we're going to start our science vocabulary. As always, when each word appears, you're going to rate how well you know the word. Give yourself a 1 if you know the word very well, if you can define it without me pressing the definition in. 2, you know it a little, you've heard or seen the word before. Or 3, you don't know the word at all. You can give yourself a 1, 2, and 3 on your fingers. You can say it quietly to yourself. You can jot it down in the notebook, in your notebook next to the word as you write it down. That way you can see, if you write it down in your notebook, then you can see how well you knew it at the beginning of the unit and how well you know it at the end of the unit. That would probably be fun to learn. So our first word is blossom. How well do you know blossom? Give yourself a 1, 2, or 3. Write down blossom, B-L-O-S-S-O-M, in your notebook. Blossom is a noun, and it means the flower part of a plant. You'll notice if we look at the pronunciation key, blossom, 2 syllables. Bloss is the stress syllable. It gets a little more inflection. Blossom, the flower part of a plant. The apple tree is in blossom. Okay? That means that these are what the apple blossoms look like. So when you see a flower, it is a blossom. That's the part of the plant it is. If you need more time to write down blossom, go ahead and pause the video here. We're going to move on to our next word. And our next word is cycle. Cycle. How well do you know cycle? Cycle. It's a noun, and it means a set of events that occur over and over again in a pattern. Cycle. A set of events that occurs over and over again in a pattern. Notice it's 2 syllables, cycle, and the emphasis is on the first syllable. The life cycle of a plant includes seeds, sprouts, plants, flowers, and sometimes fruit. We just learned that flower is called a blossom. Life cycle of plants is something we'll be talking about a lot in this unit. So cycle. If you need more time for cycle, go ahead and pause the video now. We're going to move on to our next word. And our next word is root. How well do you know root? Not like root for your favorite team. Root, like the part of a plant. Root, single syllable. So the whole thing's emphasized. It's a noun, and it's the part of the plant that grows under the soil. So this is the part of the plant that grows underground, is the root. The roots of a tree anchor it to the ground. So you can see in this picture, there's a tree and lots of roots. The roots are what help keep it anchored into the ground so it doesn't blow away. Root, the part of the plant that grows under the soil. Go ahead and we're going to go on to our next word. Pardon my dogs. And our next word is seed. How well do you know seed? Is that a 1, 2, or 3? Seed, single syllable, noun, the small part of a plant from which a new plant can grow. So the small part of a plant from which a new plant can grow is called the seed. Walnuts are seeds from the walnut tree. We eat lots of fruits with seeds, right? That's one of the things we learned about, is that it's a fruit. Where we will learn about this year is that a fruit is part of a plant and it has the seed inside. If you need more time for seed, pause the video here. We're going to move on to our next word. And our next word is soil. Soil. How well do you know soil? Is that a 1, 2, or 3? Soil, single syllable, is a noun, and it means the dirt in which plants grow. So not just any dirt. Dirt in which plants grow is called soil. Okay. The soil in the garden has lots of nutrients for growing plants. So you can see the picture has soil, it has some grass growing above it. Soil in the garden has lots of nutrients for growing plants. Soil, special dirt that plants grow in. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. Next word, sprout. Sprout. How well do you know what a sprout is? A sprout is a noun, and it means a young plant or the new growth on a plant. So a sprout is a young plant or new growth on a plant. The sprout grew into a plant rapidly. So you can see it started off as a little tiny thing, and then it got bigger and bigger. Sprout. Either a young plant or new growth on an older plant. All right, if you need more time for sprout, pause the video. Oh, that's our last word. So if you need more time, go ahead and go back. It'll be our last word for today is sprout. And I'll see you back tomorrow for some academic vocabulary.